Hey guys, it's me, the AOE Double X Prince, with my very first movie review in a while, and I'm planning on reviewing all of the DC movies leading up to the Snyder Cut coming out next March. Let's kick off with The Man of Steel. Spoilers, as always. Now, this movie, I've heard people say is the greatest Superman movie of all time. Some people say it's one of the worst. Some people are it's down the middle. I to this day don't know what to think about this movie. Don't get me wrong, I own the DVD. I mean the Blu-ray, I should say. Um, I have a good time when I watch it, but when you look back at it, you still have problems with the movie. I don't get it. This is one of those movies that Zack Snyder kind of got away with, like, because he doesn't really focus a lot on the acting. Look at 300. He just focuses more on the visuals. And don't get me wrong, 300 is a classic, but people talk about the visuals, not the acting. Watchmen, people really talk about how bad the acting was, especially now in recent times. Now with that HBO Max show that's killing it. Um, and I'm trying to think, what other movies has he done that are like pretty top notch? Dawn of the Dead, but to be fair, that one you didn't really need to focus on the acting. You just need to focus on the zombies and shit. But this is Superman. Superman is a character-driven movie. Look at the original one with Christopher Reeve. Each character had their moments, and each character was enjoyable. Here, you kind of have a mixed bag of some people you like, some people you don't, and you could say the same thing in Batman v Superman, which we'll get to in a bit. But I really enjoyed the performances of both Jor-El and Jonathan Kent, which are both of Superman's fathers, one played by Russell Crowe, and Kevin Costner, two of the best actors of all time. Um, and this is honestly their comeback, because up to this point they didn't make anything good. This is the honest truth. Um, but yeah, these guys threw in one hell of a performance, both showing the sides of like who's a better, not a who's a better father, but like who knows what and who knows what. Like the training montage, even though it was brief with Superman and or Cavill or Clark Kent, whatever you call him, uh, Clark Kent and Jor-El, those training montages in the snow was great. The whole research on their planet, uh, and Krypton, like that opening scene was great. The action scene of just showing the creatures in Krypton and showing the families and everything, that was all great until we got to those stupid penis pots. Remember that shit? They had to hit uh Kal-El or Clark Kent into a pot shaped like a dick. I remember in the theaters, people were fucking laughing at those things, the penis pods. But yeah, anyways, we find the ship where uh, Clark Kent originally came from, in the snow, and they do have a lot of like people just kind of research through, and mainly Lois Lane. And throughout this movie, like Lois Lane has been like kind of like a detective slash uh, newscaster. She's kind of done everything, a reporter, and this one definitely has more of Lois Lane as like a woman, an empowering woman. This is before that became the thing, but she really was trying to like do things on her own, like hiding and crime and stuff like that. Over the years, the comics have evolved the Lois Lane character, and I could tell that they were going through this route. So that's what I truly respected of it. Um, when we get to Batman v Superman, I have a lot of things to say about Lois Lane. Um, but yeah. Uh, so like I mentioned, the scenes of those were great, but then we finally get to General Zod and his team. They're all ready to. Um, they want Kal-El, Clark Kent, and they had 24 hours to turn himself in. Otherwise, they will destroy Earth. And he does turn himself in, and they basically want to take his powers and take over the mantle from Krypton, because Clark Kent is said to be one of the most powerful heroes of all time. And we didn't quite get that. It just kind of felt like they just want to take him in imprisonment for revenge against Jor-El, and then in return he wants to destroy Earth. It's kind of like Earth wasn't irrelevant to all of this. It's like, how cool would it have been if they just fought in a different planet? Um, Granted, we weren't there yet, but if we had to have the fight on Earth, fine. But I will say this: if they did not have that fight on Earth, we probably wouldn't have had setting up the next movie, that being BVS. But they did a good job of the action. The action was top notch. The fight with Zod and Superman, while it was a bunch of destruction, I liked it. I really liked the battle between those two, and it showed that I kind of understood why they picked Henry Cavill as Superman. For starters, the guy looks just like Superman if you just ripped him out of the comics. Um, but I always question like some of the stuff because some people say he's a terrible actor. He's not. Henry Cavill is not a terrible actor. Zack Snyder is not the best director when it comes to giving people directions as to how to act, when to act, or how to do the thing. It's kind of like Michael Shannon was kind of carrying the acting, and you could really tell it in that final battle. Um, when Clark Kent, even though he has a code of to like don't kill and like don't hurt people, they had that scene where at the end of the fight where General Zod was gonna kill a family and Superman had no choice but to snap his neck. Um, and he's upset. He starts crying, and you could see emotions. Uh, as far as delivering dialogue, sometimes I don't know if Henry Cavill's trying to get cocky when he says things, like um when he rips the handcuffs. He kind of comes off cocky. They are still working on it, and part of the reason why people love Superman, the people who do, Superman is like this heroic, incredible, like powerful person. Clark Kent is this awkward, nerdy guy who doesn't know, like, how to like talk to people, how to be respectful. And that was the good thing that Christopher Reeve did in his movies, is that he knew how to balance both Superman and Clark Kent. Here, Henry Cavill has problems switching both off, because for the most part, it was just a guy trying to be Superman the entire time, but failing miserably at some point. That sounds actually pretty cool now that I say it, but there still needs to be a balance, because like anyone could see like Clark Kent and be like, "That's Superman. He even acts like Superman." That is a big no-no. You need to change the difference. Like they gave him glasses, which has always been a funny and cliche, but there's that, and that's another thing. Where's the charm in all of this? Like, um, obviously you don't want to be jokey like the Avengers. We don't need to have two franchises doing the same thing over and over, but have some fucking charm to it a little bit. Also, one of my biggest problems, and this has nothing to do with the movie, was the advertisement in the trailers. They consistently say from the guys who brought you the Dark Knight, it was like, holy shit, Christopher Nolan is directing this. Holy shit, he just finished the Dark Knight trilogy. Now he's gonna do this. This is fucking great. I cannot wait. And they constantly show him like helping out, producing, and I could tell, but he really needed to stick around to help out Zack Snyder. Like, I kind of wished like he gave him the script and stapled it to his hand. That way, Zack Snyder doesn't rewrite the script. So he was kind of stuck like this, kind of going through it. And yeah, that's the catch. The story at some points is sloppily written. Um, there's a scene I never understood it where like Henry Cavill is like being like pulled with a bunch of dead skeletons, it was supposed to foreshadow something in the near future, but I did not understood what it was symbolizing necessarily. Um, but yeah, it looks like I'm shitting on the movie, but I have seen every single review up to this point from Man of Steel. People who even loved it, critique the hell out of this movie, but they still enjoy it. I, in the other hand, I understand why people didn't like it, and I also understand why people liked it. It is a fun, typical popcorn driven action movie. If theaters were allowed at the time, now people will watch it and still have a great time. Uh, if you watch it at home, this movie is kind of boring. I gotta be honest, it's kind of lame. The theaters definitely brought in uh, people's eyes in. It showed like typical backstory of like who Superman is, and I like that they didn't completely go the same route as a Christopher Reeve or a Smallville, because we've seen those. It's time to change up the origin story just a little bit, but not to the point where it's somebody completely different. In that sense, I think it did a good job. It was still a fun movie. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I used to give it an 8, but I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Some sloppy moments from here and there, but I can still watch it. I can still have a good time. It's a it's a great watch, honestly. Even though sometimes it could feel very long. The movie is 2 hours and 2.5 hours. So, and keep in mind, no end credit scenes. That's another thing I like, that they didn't have an end credit scene, so I didn't have to like fast forward through all of these. But yeah, anyways, what do you guys think? Check. Do you guys want to see me review BVS? You're getting it anyways. But yeah, stay tuned for those. Don't worry, my wrestling reviews are still gonna be around. I'm gonna continue my WrestleMania debates. If you guys are following, if you guys are new to this channel, please subscribe. It really helped me out. It's me, the ALE Double X Prince, and until then, I'm out.